Kabir Sehgal, you're a multi-Grammy-winning producer, composer, arranger, and bass player, but you also are successful in other business sectors like banking. How do you manage those two completely different careers?
Well, I like to keep it interesting. I like to mix things up. But I would say that my philosophy of life is really a jazz philosophy. When I went to school, I studied music, and I studied jazz music. And what I really enjoyed about jazz music was that you could, learn something and take that skill set and adapt to different contexts. And I like to think that whatever field I'm in, I can learn things quickly, and that's what jazz teaches you, to learn things quickly, to learn a chord change, to learn a song, to jump right in and start producing. So whether it's finance or my music career or my writing career, I try to apply that skill set of learning quickly and producing quickly.
You received 2 Grammys for Latin music this year, but did you grow up with jazz or with Indian music?
I grew up with both jazz and Indian music. It was really a childhood immersed in music, different music cultures. So my parents are from India.
Right.
I grew up in the South, in Atlanta, where there was a lot of hip hop when I went to school. But I was in the jazz program, so there was Indian music, hip hop, and it was a big mixture. And that's the great thing about music, is because you learn from so many different people. It really is the one global industry.
Did you learn music in India, jazz?
I learned Indian music in America, actually.
You're kidding me?
Yeah. I was born in America.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I was born in America. So I'm not Indian. I'm Indian by ethnicity, but I'm an American citizen.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
No, that's right.
But it fascinates me that somebody who grew up in the States still knows so much about Indian music.
Yeah, well, that's your heritage, and that's the thing about this jazz music, is about celebrating your heritage. And in many ways, my heritage is from India. My parents are from India.
Yeah, right.
So I try to do music. Like last year, I composed a song for Anushka Shankar, Ravi Shankar's daughter.
Yeah,
and
right.
She played the song on an album by Chucho Valdez and Arturo Farrell. It was actually an Indian song, a famous Indian song. It was
right.
Gandhi's favorite song, and I adapted it for a Latin jazz context with sitar. So you had a fusion.
That's beautiful.
Of everything. Yeah, it was a fun piece.
Yeah.
That's how you just bring it together.
Yeah. Is there something that you haven't done yet which you wanted to?
Good question. What's next for me is finishing my opera that I've written. It's a jazz opera based on the European financial crisis.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the banker and the...
Yeah. Well, I was sitting at work, my investment banking job, and I was watching the financial news during the European financial crisis, right. And I just realized everyone is yelling at each other in different languages. And it just seemed to me like a soap opera. I said, why don't you just put it on stage and add music? It'll be a great opera. So it's called Angela's Ring, after Angela Merkel and the Ring Cycle of Wagner.
I hope I get to see that, because that's fascinating. When do you think you have it?
Well, I have to record one more part. I have to record Christine Lagarde's part. She was the head of the IMF. Once that's out, I finish that sometime in the next 2, 3, or 4 weeks. And the album should be ready this fall or next spring. So.
I'm looking forward. I would love to see that, because the idea is fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I thank you very much for having taken the time to talk to us.
Of course. I just want to say that I'm a really big fan of Jazzaar and what's happening here.
Right.
And Fritz has put together an incredible production. The amount of time and effort that goes into this can't be underestimated. But he's really not just shaping the musical careers of all the students who are here, but he's helping people forge friendships and create relationships, and building like the leadership skills of everyone who's part of this program. So I was part of a similar program in New York, in high school. I got to sit in with the Jazz Lincoln Center Orchestra, and it completely changed my life because I'm not a full-time musician, but I remember those few days I was there working alongside professional musicians, and I really admired the craft and the amount of skill and the progress that you make. You know, you start off not knowing the music, and you work all week, and you know your fingers my fingers start hurting, and you're sweating, and you're like trying to keep up. But by the end of it, you get a real sense of self-satisfaction, and that you've accomplished something.
I think you would be the right person to teach young musicians about business.
Maybe, yeah.
Because that's mostly, they don't know too much about business.
Yeah, well, that's probably true. That maybe there's a knowledge gap, but I would say that learning about the music industry is really key, because that may not be something you pick up in music school. You're always learning about performance and composition, but you have to know how to, you know, make an album, get it out there. And it's mostly through relationships, finding the record label, understanding the publishing business. Because music today, people may not know this, but music today is actually making a comeback. The revenue of the music industry is growing again because of streaming services.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, and I hope what Fritz is doing with the e-learning course and stuff, that is the pathway to the future too. Because there's a lot of us who are who played music at a young age, but we no longer do it. And I would pay money to take a class online to brush up on my skills, because I think of prosperity. What is prosperity? Prosperity to me is being able to spend your free time however you want, being able to spend your time however you want, because time is the one currency is limited. We only have a certain amount of time. And once you made your money, once you've established yourself in the world, how do you want to spend your free time? And for me, I want to play music, I want to make music projects. And so
I wish you all the luck.
Thank you.
With all your future engagements.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you again here.
Thank you.